How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Avery Brewing Company's Samael, a bourbon barrel ale. So this is Samael's Oak Aged Ale, not bourbon barrel, Oak Aged Ale, maybe the same thing, by Avery Brewing Company, and I am super excited to try this beer. I've had it sitting in the cellar for about four and a half months now. Avery Brewing Company has been so far one of the absolute most solid, amazing breweries that I've had the pleasure of drinking beers from. And this one, you'll see why I'm pretty excited for it. So really awesome artwork on the front. It's got this like dark angel kind of looking thing on the front going on here, which if you know anything about like mythological lore and things like that, you know Samael is like an evil fallen angel. So it's kind of a cool little idea for the beer. The ABV on this is absolutely staggering and monstrous. This beer comes in at 14.2% alcohol by volume. That is gigantic. That effectively makes this probably one of the top three, maybe top five, but I think top three strongest beers I've ever drank in my life. Dogfish Head 120 being first place, of course, but this is coming really close to it. 14.2%. Even after only drinking a single bottle, you're going to be feeling it. You're going to definitely be extremely buzzed, most likely, from drinking one bottle of this stuff. So the commercial description on this, let's see, I imagine it'll be pretty cool. It says, brewed and bottled by Avery Brewing Company in Boulder, Colorado. It says, Samael is the prince of demons, the angel of death, accuser, and destroyer. Filled with enmity towards man, he planted the vine, the forbidden tree of paradise. Behold his venom and vengeance, both sweet and tempting, enticing you, his spellbound victim within his wings. Brewed with Rocky Mountain water, malted barley, turbinado sugar, hops, yeast, and American oak chips. So this is probably going to be just absolutely a massive, monstrous beer, both in taste and alcohol, of course. I'll be drinking this out of my Duvel glass today, so without further ado, let's get the cap off of this and see just how crazy this beer is. Okay, the cap. I just pulled this out of the fridge. It's quite cold. For what this is, I'm not sure if it's going to need much warming or not, so we'll kind of determine that in a moment. But straight out of the bottle, the color is kind of like a caramel is the best way I could describe this. I'm just going to pour this straight down the center because it's probably not going to form much of a head with it having that massive amount of alcohol in it. Yeah, I poured that super aggressively and it barely formed a half finger of just very lightly tan head. Holding it in the light, it is extremely murky, possibly unfiltered. The color, I would just call that dark honey is what I would call that. Bordering on just like orangish copper rust color, but dark honey and rust is what I would call this. Smell? Interesting. That almost smells like a barley wine. It's got huge amounts of bourbon, or kind of like whiskey sort of notes. Tons of malt. Tons of hops too. Definitely some oaky woodiness to it. Small touches of brown sugar and caramel. And even some light fruits like peaches and mangoes are in there too. So it's kind of these classic smells I'm getting that I get from a lot of barley wines that I've tried, and this smells like an awesome one. But it's not classified as a barley wine. It's simply classified as an oak aged ale. So let's go ahead and give it a taste and see what it's all about. Holy hell! Wow. Wow, that is powerful. That may be like the most powerful beer I have ever tasted. I mean, Dogfish Head 120 had more alcohol, but Jesus, this is not going to be up everyone's alley. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to take a small sip. That is hot, burning. It's good. There is so much whiskey in this beer from everything I have ever drank that is claimed to be bourbon barrel aged, whiskey barrel aged, oak aged, anything you want to call it. Nothing can even hold a light to how much whiskey is in this beer. I mean, if you are a bourbon barrel fan or you're just a bourbon fan, this is definitely the beer for you. My chest is like burning right now. Huge amounts of very bitter but also very sweet, almost to the range of being cloyingly sweet. But the bitterness does counteract it, of halts. That's malts and hops combined together. No, lots of hops, malts, vanilla, caramel, brown sugar. But it is just dominated by oak bourbon notes. I mean, it is like staggering. This beer, as far as a rating goes, it's going to have to get like a 9.8 out of 10, just because it is so no nonsense, cut the bullshit. Like, this is bourbon barrel ale. I mean, that is what it is. This is something you're going to want to drink on very rare or special occasions, and you're probably going to drink one of them because it's almost exhausting to your taste buds. There's just so much intense flavor going on. Probably the least sessionable beer I've ever drank. This is something you would want to sip on for like an hour and just take it very slowly. Quite frankly, I'm almost like worried about letting it warm up for the chances of there being even more alcohol introduced as it warms, because ice cold, I mean, my throat and chest are so warm, it's like I just took a shot of bourbon. So it is fantastic, but it is alien. It's like nothing I've ever had before. But it's really good too. The body on it is actually a little bit on the thin side, but that's okay. If you want my opinion on it, this drinks like the strongest barley wine I've ever drank, if you can imagine that. It just has those super hoppy, sweet peach and mango notes with those malts, but then it has this huge amount of just caramel, vanilla, and brown sugar that come from that massive amount of bourbon in this beer. So yeah, it is as advertised. It is definitely an oak-aged ale. That's an understatement. They should just call it Samael's Bourbon in a Beer Bottle. That's what I would call this. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find something with more notes of bourbon in it than this. Anyway, that has been my review of Avery Brewing Company's Samael's Oak-Aged Ale. If you ever get the chance to get your hands on this, I suggest you pick it up because it's definitely like a life experience as far as beer drinking goes. I'm pretty sure you can probably only get this in singles, maybe in a 4-pack if you're lucky, but it's definitely something special. And it does say this is their Demons of Ale, so it's kind of a special series they do, and it's an annual release. It says March 2014, batch number 10, so it must be like a March beer. I'm not sure, but I can promise you it's something limited because I can tell there's a lot of work put into this. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my beer review as always. Stay tuned for the next one.